This episode is for the moms who love deeply, give endlessly, and carry more than anyone ever sees. It's for the women who show up even when they're tired, overwhelmed, or unsure. It's for the mothers who hold everything together in silence. And later in this episode, I'll be sharing a special dedication to my mom, the woman who raised me, shaped me, and somehow made the hardest things look so easy, even when I know they weren't. So let's settle in. This one is for the mothers.
Welcome to another episode of the Blemished Beauty Podcast. This podcast was designed with you in mind. If you're ready to erase the norm and embrace the truth, come pull up a chair, grab a journal, and tell a friend that your favorite Jersey girl is back with another episode. So let's get into it.
Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Blemished Beauty Podcast. I am your host and favorite Jersey girl, Shira Renee. If this is your first time stopping by, thank you for coming, and I hope you stick around and become a part of the community. In this space, we focus on things that we cover up and learn tips and ideas that will transform our minds and prepare us for the new and best versions of ourselves. So with that being said, let's get into today's episode. Now, I know you guys, it's been a few weeks, but if I'm being honest, life has been lifing. And instead of trying to force an episode just to keep up with time, I'm doing this season in real time. I'm doing this season in real love and with real vulnerability. So please bear with me. If you don't hear an episode from me on Tuesday, then that means something came up. But the next few episodes will be dedication episodes. One to my mom, one to one of my sons, and one to my sister. But in honor of Mother's Day, since that just passed, I decided to start with Mom. Growing up, my only goal in life was to be a mom and a wife. To be honest, I wish I knew then what I know now, because 2 divorces later and 3 children, I would have had a different goal. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my babies, and I'm grateful for being the person God has chose to steward over them. Motherhood is beautiful. Of course it's beautiful, but it's also heavy, and the heaviness doesn't always come with a warning label. There is a mental load, the constant planning, remembering, anticipating, organizing, the invisible checklist running in the background of your mind 24/7. There's an emotional labor, being the comforter, the peacemaker, the one who absorbs everyone's feelings while trying to manage your own. There's the guilt, the feeling that no matter how much you do, it's never enough. There's the pressure, the patience, the nurturing, the presence, the productive, successful, put together and somehow still being yourself, right? And then there's the loneliness, the kind that sneaks in when you're surrounded by people who love you, the kind that comes from giving so much of yourself that you forget what it feels like to be seen as more than mom. There are parts of motherhood that don't make it to the Instagram captions. There are parts that get celebrated and don't get celebrated at baby showers. And then there are parts that don't get talked about at the school pickups. But all parts, no matter what they are real and they matter. Now, if we're being honest, this past year, motherhood for me has stretched me like never before. I found myself spending more nights crying myself to sleep, praying harder for my kids, and suffering from one of those things that I just talked about, feeling guilty. That feeling of guilt is something I struggle with often because as a mom, I want to be able to show up for my kids 1,000% of the time. But when you have more than one, especially at pivotal ages, some choices have to be made. I'm still learning how to show up for myself, so some days I'm barely making it, but it gets easier to listen to my body and trust my gut on when and where to place my time and my energy. I've learned that all my boys, they need me to show up in different ways, so that has made the process for me a little easier. I have a teenager, so y'all already know the amount of gray hairs that will form. My 6-year-old is about to leave kindergarten and enter first grade, and he is full of excitement about life and has a million questions. And lastly, my baby boy, he's about to be 5 months, so the amount of energy that I need for him, that's the struggle because now that I'm 40, I can't do it like I used to do it when I had my first baby. Regardless of the needs, the process, though, is still the same. How I execute the process is always with God. I know all my strength comes from Him and all my patience is given through Him. So I rest in the fact that no matter what the obstacle is, He will get me through. Every mother has those moments, right? The ones behind closed doors, the quiet cry in the bathroom, the deep breath before walking into a room full of needs, the smile you force even when you're running on fumes, the nights you lie awake wondering if you're doing enough, the days you feel like you've lost pieces of yourself along the way, and yet mothers keep going. Not because it's easy, not because they're superhuman, but because love, real, raw, unconditional love, pushes them forward. But here's the truth. Mothers deserve support. Mothers deserve rest. Mothers deserve to be seen. Mothers deserve to be more than the roles they fill. No matter what age or stage you are doing in your motherhood journey, I want you to know that if you've ever felt unseen, unheard, or unappreciated, this episode is your reminder that your strength is real, your sacrifices matter, and you're doing an incredible job, even on the days you don't feel like it. You are allowed to ask for help. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to have dreams outside of motherhood, and you are allowed to be human. You don't have to carry everything alone. You don't have to pretend you're okay when you're not. You don't have to be perfect. Your children need you real, not flawless. Motherhood is not meant to be a silent struggle, so know that your voice matters. Your needs matter, and most of all, you matter. For those of you who like to write and journal, here are some reflection questions for you this week. What are the responsibilities you carry that no one sees or acknowledges? What parts of you do you miss, and what parts have grown stronger? What expectations are you trying to meet? Your own, society's, or someone else's? What would support look like for you, emotionally, mentally, or physically? Write a letter to the version of you who is trying her best every day. What does she need to hear? What does she need to believe? What does she need to release? Let your answers be honest and embrace exactly where you are in the journey and acknowledge where you want to be. Now, before we end this episode, I want to take this moment to honor my mom. So, Mommy, this episode and this part especially is for you. Growing up, I watched you do everything. I mean, everything. You worked, you cared for us, you held the house together, you made sure we had what we needed, and somehow you still found ways to show up with strength. As a child, you made it look easy, and as an adult, now I know that it wasn't. I know about the sacrifices you made quietly, the nights you stayed up worrying, the moments you put your own needs aside, the times you pushed through exhaustion because you didn't want us to feel the weight of what you were carrying. And I see it now. I understand it now. And most of all, I appreciate you. I appreciate you more deeply than I could ever explain. I want to thank you for your strength. Thank you for your love. Thank you for the lessons you taught me, not just in your words, but in the way you lived. Thank you for being the example I didn't know I needed until I became older. You have shaped me. You grounded me. You gave me a foundation built on resilience, compassion, and courage. And even though sometimes I don't exercise those things, I want you to know that this episode is dedicated to you and to every mother who has ever carried the world on their shoulders with grace, even when no one was watching. So to the mothers, I pray you enjoyed your Mother's Day. I prayed you feel as important as you are. I want you to know you are seen, you are valued, you are loved, and you deserve to be celebrated today and every day. Thank you for joining me for this special episode. And if this resonates with you, share it with a mother who might need to hear it too. And as always, I want you to remember that you are graced and gifted for a time such as this. You have purpose in this world, and you have been created to do great and amazing things. So until next episode, you guys, bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and don't forget to leave a review. You can follow Shira on all major platforms and on YouTube at Shira Renee 510. Until next time, spread love, show grace, and shine bright.